Yo,
Yo, what's going on? Tangent.
what is up? What is up?
Like,
How's that music? It's almost church. It's almost church-like. Oh shit! So I
I
need to
know.
pause this.
No, it was. I didn't like test that before I put it up. I just clicked it and let it go.
Sometimes we need calming music within the bear market, so people don't people don't keep panic selling.
Yes. Hey, we should ask the chat. Are our levels okay?
Oh yeah, hit us up. And because also my voice is a little bit wrecked from the weekend, so
I think I'm a little bit deaf actually because I've got the dreaded
feedback.
I've got the
dreaded. Don't say it. Don't say it.
No.
Don't.
I've got the dreaded vidco. So, but I feel great. I feel fucking great, bro. I could do a handstand right now.
It's got to a point now. It's got to a point
right
now.
now.
Imagine it's got to a point now where it's so mild that it actually makes you feel better. Like it like gives you a boost. Like you actually feel healthier when you get it. Like
yes. Bro, cough into my mouth.
So
give me that shit.
I know people that were actually doing that at one point for various reasons. It was hectic. So yeah,
you know what? I think I'm actually a little bit deaf because I can't hear you. I'm not sure if it's the speakers on this thing.
Did you used to go to like really loud clubs, like music events, or work in any sort of industries where it was like really loud tools and shit, like drilling and shit like that?
No. I used to manage a live venue, a restaurant / live venue, and we used to have like bands on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and it was like really small, dude. But they used to play loud. It was heaps of fun, but they used to play loud, man.
Alan's in here. He's got admin status, and he said that we're both good audio. Oh, there's other people in here. Mango Junkie, yeah. Several people saying it sounds good for both of us.
Oh, good.
So I think that should be fine. Although I guess you do need to hear me as well.
Yeah. I just can't, like, the speakers on this little laptop that I'm using just suck, and that with me being like partially deaf, it's not helping.
Yeah. Have you got headphones?
Well, see, this thing is so shit that it only has one USB-C port. Only one. Yeah. So I've got my mic. I guess what I could do is
modern computers, man, they're trying to just make them smaller and smaller to the point where you just don't have. I've got this laptop behind me, just literally that one right there, has only got 2 USB-C ports, one on each side, and one of them you have to use for the power cable. So when the power is plugged in, you've literally only got one port. So unless you have a hub that gives you multiple ports,
you need a hub. And I have hubs, just not here with me tonight. But I find this setup, and I think it might be like what I'm afflicted with at the moment that might be causing my deafness to some extent. But yeah, man. So we decided to do a stream tonight just out of the blue because Bitcoin is obviously going to zero. Obviously going to zero, man. Correct? Right, Tangent?
I disagree.
Really? It's going. Do you think it's going lower? Because I saw a tweet from you before, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to 30K or something."
So So I was looking. I so rarely look at prices not in US dollars that I didn't realize I had the Australian price chart up because of something else I had been doing. So that was still up, and I saw it was actually about to punch through 30K. So I wasn't thinking of the price. I just saw the level, and I tweeted that out saying we're about to kick 30K in the nuts, and then realized ages later that was the Australian dollar price.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think we broke 30K on AUD. Let me just check that. The exchange rate has actually gone down. So Australian dollar crypto prices don't look as savage Do you see what I'm saying? Like the drop hasn't been as bad when you look at it in Australian dollars.
Oh, because
use that as a cope mechanism. Like you don't. But yeah, because of the change in the exchange rate, it's made.
What's the exchange rate at the moment? AUD.
I think it's 0.69.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So that
I can double check that
quite a bit.
Yeah,
because when you turn,
it was like
you're pricing
0.74 or 0.72. It was around the sort of like 0.72, 0.73.
Yeah.
Let me just, if I can find, I use xrates.com. I'll just double check that I'm not. Yeah, so it's 0.698 at the moment. Yep. So still below 0.7.
Hey man, what'd you get up to on the weekend?
Did you notice I'm actually wearing a Bitcoin hoodie? I'm trying to be like Jack Mollers.
Dude, that car
with the cap and the hoodie this is a Jack Mollers fit.
Dude, that car looks fucking sick.
Yeah, it's a real car. It's a real Bitcoin racing car. Dude, my weekend was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. We went out the entire time. It was like every night and every day. It was relentless. And because people had bought me tickets to things, I couldn't just be like, you know, if you've bought your own ticket, you can just be like, fuck it, I'm not going. Like if you're not up to it. But if someone else has bought your ticket, you can't really disrespect their shit. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be like, I don't care. I'm just not going to go. So yeah, we had two old school famous breakbeat DJs, Crafty Cuts and Plump DJs, do play Sunday night, and then they played their own after party back to back, and it was just phenomenal. It was really good.
Cool, man.
So yeah, every event was really, really, really good. It was just an immaculate weekend.
I don't know how you do it, dude.
I was struggling by the end of it, man. I was struggling because I wasn't doing any hard drugs. So by the Sunday night, when I went to the after party, which is not the house one, the club after party of the event, I was lining up and I was like, I just want to go home. I don't know if I've got legs for this. And then one of my mates was like, let's just go to the kebab store and buy bottles of water so that we can get hydrated while we're lining up. And he just like hyped me up. And I'm so glad he did. Otherwise I would have missed these sets that were actually sick.
That's cool, man. Could you hang on 1 second?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, dude.
You know, we didn't used to get very many like quality international acts coming to Perth because it's so fucking remote from everywhere else in the world. And then because of that global financial crisis that happened in like 2008, our mining industry over here held our state so strong that we basically didn't have the GFC did not really hit.
Bro,
in fact, it protected basically the whole of Australia. Our state mining industry carried the entire country through that financial crisis.
Yep.
And so international acts realized that if they wanted to pack stadiums out and make serious bank, they had to come to our city. And it started like we had Jay-Z and Bono came here, played together at the same gig. Jay-Z was the supporting act. What the fuck? Like, to me, that's madness because in my mind, Jay-Z is more famous, better artist than Bono. But it went down like that. And then after that, it just changed the game. And we've basically had internationals, because obviously those international acts saw how passionate our state is about music, and obviously would have told their celebrity mates, like, if you want to pack stadiums out and have people really appreciating your music, go to Perth. And that changed the game. And ever since it's been good. We had Eminem come for the first time ever. He had never been to Perth, Australia before. And so it's good now. We get quality artists. I mean, obviously over the last couple of years, zero. But that's now that things are opening back up. It's we're getting quality artists coming back in again. So it's good.
That is good, dude.
Should we talk about the hex price before people losing their shit?
Let's
talk about crypto.
Let's talk about hex.
What's the most important stuff going on in crypto right now?
Okay, so there's all sorts of always. I mean, to me, it just seems like there's lots of negative shit, like lots of centralized crypto entities. Like shit is hitting the fan with them.
Do you think people are going to learn their lesson? Do you think people are going to learn not to hand their keys over to centralized?
But this is the only way. Like, it's unfortunately, it seems like it's the only way for the masses to get the right idea is to see like pain, death, and destruction. And then we need to be there to say, yo, remember that shit?
This is why. Yeah, this is why.
We need to remind them constantly, like, hey, this. And if you think about it, that's sort of what the community does. We like constantly.
Yeah, we do. Did you hear that Celsius is trying to get a bailout? They're trying to organize a bailout. And it's apparently, I've heard it's not going well, but also they're trying to do like short squeezes on people, who are trying to short Celsius. Some entity, probably like founders / team, are actively trying to wreck people who are shorting it. So you can see on the chart, it looks like short squeezes, But people shouldn't be shorting. You shouldn't short crypto when it's down like over 95%. The only time it would have been reasonable to do that was in the case of Luna, because programmatically it was in a death spiral that you could show how it was just going to relentlessly go through that cycle until it was literally zero. There was an arb to zero, but the same cannot be said about Celsius. And then I also heard that Tron has got a similar coin, a stable coin with similar mechanics to Luna that could do a death spiral. So like their stables off peg. But the weird thing is
all these problems seem to have something to do with stables though, don't they? Like Luna had something to do with USDT.
That's right. Yeah. Once the stable went off peg, this other one, apparently the stable's been off peg at 97 cents for like an extended period of time. And to me, that indicates that it's not susceptible to the same attack, because a 3 cent difference is enough to get that arb going and get that death spiral going. So it's strange that it hasn't done it yet, unless the liquidity is small enough for them to artificially keep propping it back up. But if that was the case, then you would expect they'd actually be able to move it back to 1.0 and not just leave it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah, Celsius is actually pumping at the moment.
Is it?
I mean, I for the record, I wouldn't touch this shit. Not financial advice, but
did you hear that live stream that Richard did?
The most recent one?
He called out Mashinsky in it.
How long ago was this?
It was like in the last week.
I might not have seen it.
The one how like he
did he call him a scumbag?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did see that actually.
You see that? Dude, that was full on. That is like full on. Cannot call someone out harder than that.
Knives out, shots fired.
Yeah.
But
that's I think that's the part of also the getting noticed. I think that's just a part of it as well.
Yeah.
Because do you know why? Because there's history there. Mashinsky said like bad shit about Hex.
Yeah, I was
So
surprised I was surprised he did that. I was surprised that he did that because,
well, they're basically in competition, aren't they? If you think about it, they're in competition. You've got you're it's crypto. Well, there's an argument to be made, a very good argument to be made, that Celsius is not really, doesn't hold to the crypto tenets that we believe in. But you're seeking yield, right? You're seeking yield. And
okay, yeah,
are you
good
going
point.
to go to Celsius or are you going to go to Hex? I mean, I know where I know where I'm going, where I've been, where I'm staying.
My perception is that these guys, like Mishkinsky, or however you pronounce his name, and also the lunar guy Dokwon, they let the money boost their ego so hard that they don't go and check their shit, and they don't concern themselves about the future like that. So if you shit talk Hex, if you even just got one of your devs, they've got unlimited, like, let me take a step back. They've got unlimited money. They could just get literally one of their devs and go and check the code and see whether there's actually any flaws in it or not. Dev goes and checks the code. Nah, shit's flawless. No admin keys. It's definitely not a scam. Shut your fucking mouth, because whatever you say is going to age poorly. So it's like, if you're gonna, like, so there's an active positive for them to lie about how good their product is, right? So that's a lie with an incentive, a financial incentive for them to lie. But for them to lie negatively about Hex, I don't think the financial incentive is clear cut enough for them to risk that shit when it's going to come out later that Hex is legit and they were lying about it. And then also, if they've seen how the Hex community behaves, where they literally they screen capture more hardcore than Google's Wayback Time Machine, and then just never let anyone forget.
Fuck yeah.
I see Motley posting shit like, "Hey dude, remember when you deleted this tweet?" Like, and it's just like jamming it in people's face. I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Dude,
like,
if you're in crypto and you're posting some ridiculous shit, right? I guarantee you there's a hexagon screenshotting that, for future reference. 100% guarantee it. There's one. There's like many thousands on Twitter.
What I like is scam investigator and investigators has become a respected and cheered on role within the crypto community. So guys like Zach XBT, CoffeeZilla, there are heaps of other people who are gaining high follower base, incredibly positive feedback. They're getting cheered on and respected. So that we didn't used to have that. So and obviously I'm not even listing the number of people within the Hex community that fall under that category, because it's like nearly everyone. Everyone in Hex contributes to that kind of shit. So it would be hard to pinpoint exact people who do it. But so within Hex, but also in the broader community, it's starting to become respected, and that's a good thing. I think that's going to really help, because it's going to shorten the lead time from between when someone launches a scam and when people are being educated about how that it is probably not a good idea to be invested in. So, and I think that's the most dangerous aspect of some of these things, is when they go on for a really, really long time. It means more people get hurt. They get hurt by a larger amount of dollars, and the contagion of how it can impact, the flow-on impact to the rest of crypto, is also a higher damage. So if we can shorten that time frame, it just helps. So you're never going to be able to stop everyone from getting scammed, but we can definitely limit the damage and maybe get to a point where it just becomes not profitable enough for people to go through the effort of creating these scams. I don't. That's probably a lofty dream. That's probably a little bit too optimistic.
There's always going to be
too hopeful,
bro. There will always be scammers. Always.
Yes,
always.
There will be. Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Like, you just have to.
But particularly when you think
bullshit, you have to have an inbuilt bullshit detector.
Yeah, particularly when you consider that in some countries a US dollar is like a daily wage. So if you can scam even just a handful of people for like $10 each, and you're living in a country where that's your sort of like standard of wealth, there's always going to be a positive financial incentive for people to try and scam. So I guess the way that
I think if someone's educated enough, like in computers, like when I say computers, that's very general, but just like tech, very, very tech savvy. Look, all you need to do is just read that the Deception. Kevin Mitnick. What's that book? The Art of Deception. The Art of Deception.
That title sounds correct.
Yeah. If you read that book, it's like you realize how fucking easy it is, like, to get scammed or to scam someone. Like
yeah.
That book lays it out, just how easy it is to get scammed. Now, with tech, like that book was sort of before the tech that we have now. But you could apply the same principles. So if these people in another country have that knowledge or have educated themselves to that degree, they could definitely scam people in like countries like Australia. Because, hey, I'll give you an example. My son has a scooter. Like, it's quite a nice scooter.
Electric one?
No.
Or just
no,
push.
Too young. No, just a regular. But like, there's a latch on it that broke. It's only like a year old, but this latch on it broke, which tightens the handbar, the steering thing, the column. I don't know the name of it. So I emailed them, and I used that system that we both have, which is for every time I give out my email address, I have a new email address for a new
like
company.
aliasing. Yep.
So I put this company's name. This is what I do generally. I put the company's name as the handle, and then it's just my email address.
Yep.
So they
like your domain or your private or your ghost domain.
Yeah. So they called me. I left a message, but I ended up
they thought. And did they think you were scamming?
No, because the message was like, we didn't email you back because something just didn't seem right with, and so
that's understandable.
Yeah, which is fine. But I explained it to her. I said, look, the reason I do this is because I want to know, like, if you guys like, if I start getting spam, right, I want to know where that spam originated from.
Yeah.
Is it these guys? Then I can just, cut them off. So I had their company name and then the @ and then my domain name. And but she was just like, didn't understand why I was doing it. And I can understand how like the average person wouldn't understand that, but it's like, I forget why I'm talking about this. Oh, we're talking about scammers.
We're talking about scammers.
Yeah. But I sort of forget specifically why I was talking about this.
I actually had the opposite experience recently where I started to explain why I was giving them an email that had it was actually a bank. And I was like, the reason why I've got your bank name as the handle, like as the start, is because I use aliasing. And the chick just did not care. She was just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, just like, no, like zero care factor. Just said, I was like, okay. I was like, cool. That's
fine, so you're saying like people working at scooter companies
care more about
more of a care level than our fucking banks, bro. She was concerned, bro.
That's actually probably true, though. Sadly, that's actually probably true.
Yeah,
because
she was concerned, bro. She was concerned. Yeah. She thought something was wrong. She had Googled, like, done all this Googling of my domain name, and she's confused about it and all this stuff.
We need to get that chick into crypto. It sounds like she does research for real. Like that's better research than anyone that I've ever seen in crypto, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, she did her research, dude, because she even because my, the top level domain, the thing on the very end.
Yeah, yes.
She did her research because mine's not .com.au.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I know your domain. Oh, I know the final part of your domain.
Yeah. And you know why? Because
yes.
that is owned by a country that has very high privacy standards.
Better privacy standards.
Yeah. So the idea is you do that, but she had even gone to the extent of finding out the country that was from. And she's like, why have you got this? She was asking all these questions.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah, that's good. As in, those are all red flags, right? As in, people should be aware of that as potential red flags. And then, so in situations like that, sometimes you will get false positives where you think, this sounds scammy, and it's not a scam. A bit like Hex is an example of that, where people will be like, there's a few things here that sound a bit like scammy, but you're going to end up with the correct. You're going to end up safe and correct if you have that mindset. You'll eventually work out what is and isn't a scam. Whereas the other way around, you're just basically on the clock waiting to get butt fucked.
Yeah.
So
which is most people, probably to a lesser extent people in crypto, because we care about that.
Yeah.
We have to care about that.
I think
but the average person, bro, the average person is just I just feel like lambs to the slaughter. Seriously.
Yeah,
the average person with their security practices.
This is something that I actually agree with very much so with Richard, and as you know, I don't agree with everything with Richard, but something I do agree with him on is because there is this desperation or genuine desire that people want to believe that being able to get rich quickly is a thing. By giving them a real version of something where they actually can get rich quickly, that is legitimate, like Hex, and it's not guaranteed, but it's much more likely, and
it's not that quick either.
It's definitely not a scam.
But it's not that quick either, right?
Well, it's quick compared to legacy, man.
But because legacy, you work your ass off your whole life, and you'll never be rich, right? In legacy,
yes. In fact, you end up getting
But in crypto, even if you're the dumbest fuck in the world, you can just buy some crypto for, let's just say a few $1,000s and wait 5 years. And if it's the right crypto, you might just be fucking rich.
Yes.
5 years, which is not but it's get rich. It is get rich quick, but it's not super fucking quick like people who get into crypto want it to be. If you want to get rich quick in crypto, not only do you need to get rich, do you need to buy the right crypto, but you need to buy it at the fucking right time, just before it does its massive.
I heard a Bitcoiner say once that Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich. It's a don't get poor slow scheme, being implying that because the dollar loses value over time because of inflation and that, which is true. So that Bitcoin is the don't get poor slowly scheme, not the get rich quick scheme. But anyway, my point was that by giving people a legitimate option that has the potential or higher potential of actually making faster than average gains, and can sometimes be really extreme, it means that there is a way that people can sort of still live that dream or have that inspiration or hope without constantly repeatedly giving their money to scammers to keep that dream alive and just getting scammed every time. So I think Hex definitely fulfills that role. But there is actually something that I disagree with about about Richard. I'm not sure
But
if you saw
just before you get onto that, can I just just with the hex thing though, and you're talking the thing that I really, really love about hex, like, and I know I say this all the time, but I just love the fact that like we're in the bear market, but my T shares are still, I'm going to say, buying me hex every day. You know,
like
I'm
kind
still
of like
getting that
averaging.
hex.
They're averaging you in, sort of like they're.
It is,
actually,
bro. It is so fucking good. Everyone else
sorry,
is just
it's
like,
not. It's not really. Actually, it's not really like a DCA though, because
no, I'm just getting it every day.
Yeah, you're just getting the same amount every day. So with the DCA, as the price goes down, you actually get more units per day. So there's actually a benefit to the price going down if you're DCAing, because you'll pick up more units each day, and then if you come through the dip, you're laughing. Whereas with Hex, because it's always paid as fixed unit, or not fixed units, but
based on your T shares, right? But you can. But the thing is that if the price is really low, like it is now, I mean, I don't know many hexagons who aren't accumulating right now. I definitely am. I've told everyone that I know who's in Hex, that I know from my life to DCA, because I just like, and you know, I wanted to ask you, wouldn't it be like don't you think it would be good for you to swap all your BTC for Hex right now? Like, wouldn't that be the move while like BTC still hasn't done?
Fuck no.
Bro, while BTC still hasn't done, it's like because I think BTC will do like a between a 75 and 80% drop, right?
Bro.
So now, because Hex has done like a 95% drop. If you swap your BTC for all your BTC for Hex right now, when Hex does its like 50x or 100x or whatever the fuck it's going to do in the next run, right? Then you'd be able to at the top swap and get because what's BTC going to do
if it was to play out like that? But I can answer this question.
But if you stake, it's gonna.
I'll try and keep it brief, because I know people hate like pro Bitcoin shit. So I'll keep this super brief. But here's the reason why. It's as simple as this. We have not seen Hex go through a fucking proper savage bear market yet. This is the first time. If you look historically in bear markets, everything gets in the crypto, all alts get fucking wrecked against BTC. So if you were to look at, and so we know this time is different is the most dangerous fucking attitude. So taking that attitude of this time is different, Hex is going to do what no alt has done before and be the first time that anything has actually stayed up against BTC.
No, I'm not saying
you're relying on that.
What I'm saying is
you're relying on it to outperform to the downside. Like
what I'm saying is if Hex has already like dropped 95%, right? And sure, it can drop more. It could drop more.
So theoretically, it could drop even more. So an alt in a bear market,
another 95%, man.
Exactly. And if you look at alts historically through other bear markets, that has happened over and over again. And people who have thought that they were smart, either holding or buying alts, have got wrecked, absolutely wrecked, and especially against BTC. So it's an incredibly high risk move when Hex has not proven itself in a bear market.
Hang on, wait. There are like most alts, that is the case. But there are a handful of alts that if you had bought them when BTC still hadn't if you'd swapped your BTC for them when they had already done their 95.
Do you have an example that wasn't new? That wasn't new. So typically the ones that I could point to that did what you're claiming were ones that were new, so that then they didn't have that overhead resistance. So like Link in the last cycle, if you'd bought that,
like Ethereum, like Ethereum, bro.
Ethereum got wrecked in the last bear market.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When Ethereum's like super wrecked, but BTC isn't super wrecked yet, right? And you swap it, then from the bottom.
This all comes under trying to time markets, though. This comes under the category. This comes under the category of trying to time markets.
I'm just trying to get you out of BTC.
Even Richard says don't do that.
I'm just trying to get you out of BTC so you don't wreck yourself.
But so even Richard himself says, don't try to time markets. And what you are talking about is trying to time markets. So you're convinced.
There has to be some element of timing in what you do. Now, I look, hang on. I agree. You don't like, I'm not a trader, right? But, and going back and forth, I think is a risky game. Leverage is a risky game, but like obvious shit, like, okay, BTC hasn't done its full drawdown yet, in my opinion. I think it's got more to go.
And you think Hex has? You think Hex is?
Sorry?
You think Hex has?
No, I think BTC has. I think BTC is gonna, it's gonna be in the teens, low teens, dude.
Look, since you started this hypothetical as it being like to do with my position, I am already hyper exposed to Hex. So what I would be in fact doing, not only do I think it's a super high risk from what I just explained, that in bear markets typically alts get wrecked relative to BTC. So from that position, I wouldn't do it anyway. But even if I thought that there was a good risk reward of the trade that you're talking about, I would be like, because BTC and Hex are they're my two largest bags, not just in crypto, of any wealth asset I own. So if I was to start trading my Bitcoin into Hex, I am like even further worsening my potential for decorrelation. It would just be, I just think for me, that would just be an absolutely terrible strategy, like especially in a heavy bear market.
Yeah. That makes sense. If that's the way you're
then basically I would basically be my entire financial future would be resting on a single asset, man. Like that's,
so let's like, if we're going to talk
with paper thin liquidity, like so we both know that the price could go in either direction from not even a whale, like just a fucking sub whale network participant could move the price in either direction drastically, and I would be banking my entire financial future on that. It would just be so irresponsible.
So let's do this hypothetical. Imagine you had zero exposure to Hex, right? You can see that Hex has done a 95% drawdown.
Yeah.
But you're also,
I would be buying Hex. And I'm buying Hex anyway.
Hang on, you also have your head around the fundamentals of Hex, what it is, the contract, immutable, like all that stuff. You totally understand it. You're not like some BTC maxi who doesn't. You totally understand it. You appreciate it, and you've just you've got your BTC, which is done. What's it done? A 70% drawdown.
And then in this hypothetical, do I have all Bitcoin, all dollars, or some kind of mix of both, or like? As in my current portfolio,
let's just to make it easy. To make it easy, let's just say you're just whatever dollars you have, you're not putting it into crypto. That's your living money, but you've just got BTC, right? And you were like, okay, I've just got BTC, but so now would be a good time if that was a BT. If you're
in
like
that
just a
scenario,
BTC guy,
yes.
Now's a good time to swap that BTC for Hex, because in the next bull, right? And we don't have crystal balls, but let's just, and this is a hypothetical. So in the next hypothetical bull market, if it happens, I would expect Hex to do many more X's from the bottom than BTC.
Yes. If in that hypothetical, I would absolutely trade some of my BTC for Hex. Not all of it, but some of it for sure. Absolutely. I would want exposure to an asset that I perceive will make ridiculous, much more ridiculous gains.
Would you say in the next bull market, a conservative estimate of the aggregate total of Pulsechain and Ethereum chain Hex would be $1.50 is a conservative total for the aggregate of both?
Wait, what? As in the prices, their prices,
the price of both added together.
So one and one, like.
So if you take the cost of your Pulsechain Hex and the cost of your Ethereum chain Hex.
Sorry. I thought you meant a Pulse
price.
token, a Pulse native token plus a hex, and I was like, that makes no sense. So you're saying the
Sorry, I
two
didn't explain
hexes, the two hexes together.
2 hexes, yeah.
And what was the target? Like, as in,
like $1, like $1.50 for both.
Easily, yeah. I think that would be. I think that would be
like fucking easy, bro.
I think it could like easily do that.
I feel like it could easily do that.
Easily.
So that's
like that's 70 cents, 75 cents each.
Yeah, or a yeah,
or some kind of non 1-to-1 ratio.
I feel like we could easily do that. That's a 50x from where we are now. A 50x, right, from where we are now in hex. So the question is,
that's badass.
Yep. So if BTC was to go down to 10 grand, right? If BTC is to go down to 10 grand, let's just say it goes down to 10 grand.
I don't think that's happening. That's one thing I disagree with.
But in this situation, it going down to 10 grand actually helps you because it gives you more opportunity to get more X's on the way up, right?
Yes.
It's not like in the next bull. Do you think it's going to go to 500,000? No. Like, is it going to? How's it going to
go? Wait. Yeah, possible. Yeah, possible.
Bro.
I think BTC could possibly go to $500,000 in the next bull cycle.
If BTC goes to $500,000, then Hex goes to fucking $15, bro. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so the point of what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is that it's unlikely it's going to 500,000 just because the diminishing, like, the diminishing heights, like from the all-time low, the last all-time low did like a 20x, and then from the all-time low, what did it do? It went down to 3 grand. That was the bottom, and then it went to 69. What's that? What did it do? Like another 20x?
It would definitely bottomed at 3 grand.
Yeah, and then it went to 69
after it dropped off that 6K cliff, and then so. And
so
then,
just maybe it did
is that a 20x?
20x, I think so.
Yeah.
20 something x.
So
lucky. It's lucky if we'll see where the bottom is, but lucky if it gets to 200 grand in the next cycle. But most likely, maybe 150 to 200 in the next cycle.
But for me, I've always considered Hex being built on Ethereum as being a risk that Bitcoin doesn't have. Just that's a personal thing. I know most hexagons would disagree with me, and Richard's convinced them that Ethereum's fine, it's solid.
That's reasonable.
I consider ETH to be a real risk, which I'm stoked that we're going to have the redundancy once we go over to Pulsechain. But that hasn't happened yet, right? So while we're still only on ETH, so even though Bitcoin only did a 20x, I considered that to be a 20x with lower risk, like lower network risk than investing.
I really want to push back on this. I want to push back on it. Do you know why?
A lot of people would disagree with me.
I'll give you my reasoning why I want to, because if Ethereum shat itself, you can still get the Hex system state, right? And then you can do something with it. If BTC shits itself,
that's not a bad point, actually. That perhaps we're close enough to the launch of Pulse that if ETH shat now, Richard could just take the last system state before it shat and launch Pulse. So maybe in that respect, the redundancy is already in play, even though Pulse hasn't launched mainnet.
And because it's EVM compatible, I wonder. I don't know how that. Like, I'm not technical enough to understand whether. Like, I'd have to ask an expert whether you could put it on another. Like, you could just put it on another chain. Or whether it has to be a fork. It probably has to be a fork.
I think if you're copying the system state, you wouldn't be able to merge it in on a chain that already has its own shit. So it would have to be on a new clean EVM compatible chain.
It would need to be a fork, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Just on the last block that was viable.
Yeah.
Like if a chain shat itself, the last viable block would have to be a fork. Sort of, I'm guessing. With my limited,
I don't perceive that ETH is going to fail in the immediate short term. So I'm not necessarily stressed about it. But when we're talking about holding assets over long periods of time, because let's be honest, in crypto, you kind of need a multi-year time horizon if you want to be sure that the shit is going to make you rich. So then you need something that you're not going to be nervous to hold for multiple years.
Yeah. Hey, about 5 minutes ago, I cut you off. You were saying,
oh yeah,
you were saying like you'd given like RH props for something, and then I feel like you're going to be.
Yeah, I was saying I agree with him on the on Hex being that potential for something where if people who would normally get scammed are coming into something more legitimate that still has that kind of like hope to be able to get rich. But something that he was saying in his most recent stream, I don't know, did you see his most recent stream? It was very recent. It was only 15 hours ago or something, 15, 16 hours ago.
Excuse me. An interview?
It was an interview with some guy. He was up in the top corner or whatever. I'm not sure what that guy's claim to fame is. He must have a lot of followers. I'm not sure. The stream was another example that I think, in terms of entertaining content for the Hex community and others, if Richard was to debate me, it would be like 100 times more interesting than that. But anyway, a few of the things that he said, I disagree with. And one of them I wanted to get your opinion on.
I'm happy to give you my opinion, but I'm just before you give me like this point, why don't we move to the Hex Late Show channel?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. So we've been on this channel for almost 48 minutes. Guys, the Hex Late Show has actually created their own channel, which is in my name here, youtube.com/C/Hex Late Show. But if you just type in the Hex Late Show in YouTube and just have a look, you should find us. We're there. We're definitely there.
Yeah, keen, man. We can free up this channel and continue the mission.
Yeah, so I'm going to start the stream there now so that people can go in and see the live stream, and we'll like be there in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Done and done.
All right.
See you there, dude.
See you, mate. See you guys. We'll see you there. Let me type it in here if I can. Just before I rug, let me type in this thing.
So you're going to give me the stream over here?
Oh, I haven't ended the stream yet, by the way, mate.
Oh, okay.
We're still live. I'm just going to put the okay. Good. All right. I'm rugging now and we're live on the other one. So I'll send you the link in a second, mate.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
Cheers.